we're here back with Tracy Mitchell, one of our account managers here at ClearedJobs.Net, and talking about tips that we would pass on to transitioning military folks. We're a veteran-owned firm. We have many veterans who are part of our teams. So we wanted to take a few moments to sort of share their expertise and their recommendations to transitioning military. So one question that comes up a lot for us, Tracy, is should transitioning military job seekers remove military lingo and acronyms from their resume? And how can they translate their military experience into civilian experience?
Those are great questions. I would say yes. Remove the acronyms and make sure that you spell them out. You don't. A lot of what we find is that the acronyms within the military do not transition well or do not mean the same thing in corporate or the civilian sector. Completely different things. So if you're going to use an acronym, make sure that you spell it out, but you don't want to have that consistent military language throughout your resume. You do, again, want to tailor that resume and have it match or at least be similar to what the company's language is. How do you transition and how do you make all that work? So one of the things that you can do is just do some internet search. If you're not sure what your skill set applies to in the corporate or civilian sector, plug it in. Google will tell you. So, or at least it'll give you some good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you can do is have a couple friends read your resume. So if you know, have a military friend who's been out for a while, take a look at your resume and see what they think, because now that they've been in that world for a while, they can help guide you. Also have somebody who's in corporate America take a look at your resume, because they will be able to definitely tell you whether or not what you're writing makes sense.
So one thing that I've noticed a lot of times when I'm looking at resumes that are military resumes, they seem to sort of gloss over the business components that are inherent in many positions, such as if you're a platoon leader, you actually have a budget to manage, you have workforce issues, you have um, people that you are mentoring, you have a lot of things that we normally think of as incorporating many different business sense, but I notice in a lot of military resumes they sort of skim over that. Do you understand what I'm talking about with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the military mindset, that's part of your job.
Hmm.
I mean, it just is. I mean, you don't think of it, your title and your persona is that platoon leader or that company commander. You don't think in terms of corporate America where, you have a budget and you're involved in training and you're involved in planning and you're involved in operations and the myriad of other things that you do. You just consider that, well, I'm a platoon leader or I'm a company commander. But yes, you're
So
right. It is often left out.
so how should someone talk about that in their resume?
Well, one of the things that I try to bring out of transitioners when they are writing their resumes is think in terms of, the 5 W's and how. So then that way you're not missing anything. We can always taper and make it smaller, but if you don't answer the questions who, what, when, why, where, and how, then you're probably not putting everything you need to in your resume. So if you say platoon leader, well, or company commander or staff sergeant or whatever it is that you are, put think in terms of those 5 W's and the H, because you can always, you know, pare down your resume, but it's really hard to build it up.